Hi Year 7, welcome back to Term 3. My name's Mr. Seymour and yes, I'm not Mrs. Graham. I'm only introducing this topic for this first lesson, and then Mrs. Graham will come back in lesson 2 and then continue on from here on in. So bear with me today while I introduce our new topic for online learning. Habitats. As you can see here, there are 3 possible areas, 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom of that word habitat. Within those habitats, there's a lot of organisms that are very different, and also the way in which they live and what they have, the environment in which they have to deal with, the amount of rainfall or none at all, the availability of food, all these things can change and are different for all of those 3. Your activity today is to define habitat, to show characteristics and 4 main characteristics of habitats. Look at examples and find examples visually, images or text information on some examples of habitats, and then what habitats are not. So you're going to just, I'm going to have a quick review of what you should have learnt from year 3, 4, 5 and 6 on this area of understanding. And then I'll get you to download a worksheet, which is at the bottom of this lesson, and then complete that worksheet with the information provided in the lesson. So in order to look at habitats, I'm going to give you some simple examples and definitions here that you might be able to write down for that worksheet. Habitats, it comes from Latin. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the Latin is, but you can look that up. But it's quite interesting what the origin or the etymology of this word, but you can look that up yourself. But the simple definition of habitats is the place in which you live, or the place in which an organism lives. So let's, and then another way and characteristic that has to have in a habitat, there's 4 of them. I'm going to give you 2. But to show you the characteristics, or 2 out of the 4 of habitats, I'm going to give you just something you might have used when you're a bit younger. So this is an app called Toka Nature, and my youngest was using this today. Now what we have here is a piece of land with hardly anything on it. That is not a habitat. There's nothing to show. It's just a piece of ground or dirt. If we talk about the bacteria, maybe, but at the moment I can't see anything happening. So I'm going to do something to it in order to get some things on here. So let's raise a little bit up. So let's raise this space up and see if I can get a hill over here just to have different areas. And then over here, I might put a depression and that'll fill up there. And as you can see, there might be, if you can look now, and I'll spin around to this way here, you might be able to see the bottom left and top right. Some organisms are now starting to live there. So we have now created 2 habitats. That's a problem though, because there's nothing else there other than it's really low or it's really high. Those organisms, if we didn't do something else, would not survive. So what can I do? Well, in this app, in order for them to survive, we need to give them some, number 1 characteristic of a habitat, shelter. So let's add some shelter for these foxes over here. So over on here, I might spin it around so we're a bit closer to those foxes. I might just add in on the edge, around here, some space for those foxes. And then, now if I left it like that, there's not much that's going to be there for the foxes to survive, because there's only trees, and those trees, as you can tell here, only have foxes. So what do we need for those foxes to survive? Well, they need to eat something, don't they? So the next thing is food. So here's a nice little rabbit. So in order for us to get some rabbits there, let's interdisperse some spaces and some trees where rabbits might like to hang out. So now if I come around here, you might see some rabbits that are starting to be in that space and in that area. So, two characteristics of habitats. One, they need shelter. And the shelter for this app is trees, but there's a lot of more detail in here just because it's a simple app. And two, they need food. Now, there's two other very basic characteristics that are required to be called a habitat. So, today, what I'd like you to do, as I said, download that Word document, fill in those 4 sections, and if you want to take a challenge, there are 2 extra questions on there that are a little bit more difficult for those students who want to. All right, good luck, have a great time, and I hope it's a good start to your online learning.